Hey Virgo, it feels like there's some really exciting energy taking place in your personal life right now. The image that actually came through to me when I was connecting with your energy was this open house. And there wasn't any furniture inside. It felt very open and bright, very optimistic and kind of exciting. And what I really got from this is that maybe some of you could literally be moving into a new home or just feeling at home in a different way. There could even be something like working with feng shui, kind of adjusting or getting a better energy flow in the space, kind of resetting, if you will. But this felt like a new beginning to me. And looking at the astrology, there may very well be another person involved with this new beginning. Maybe you're moving in with a partner, or there's something happening kind of in a relationship where you're going to the next level and really building a life together or planning a life together. All of this just feels very exciting, very warm, very cozy, very comfortable. And I love to see and feel this energy for you, Virgo. I did actually pull a couple of animal cards here as well, and honestly, I kind of wish I just recorded this because it is so on the nose with what I was picking up. I will get into the tarot in just a moment, but I really wanted to kind of clarify these themes that are coming up for you. I got the beaver card as well as the sea serpent, which is a very interesting combination because obviously with beaver, we often associate them with dens, with their home that they build. And again, quite literally, some of you are moving into a new space or feeling more at home. And beavers make dams. They literally alter the current, which I think is what the sea serpent represents. So there's something about finding energetic flow in your life, maybe even rearranging the furniture. Again, feng shui kind of feels like an important thing. You're literally creating a more conducive flow for you spiritually and psychologically. And I do think with the beaver, there is also this kind of coming together with the water and earth elements. We actually have the alchemical symbol for water at the top of this top of this card. We do also have the sea serpent, which obviously has connection to the water element as well. But with beavers, it really is like building from the heart, building something that's important, that's nurturing to you. And while this feels like it's something in your personal life for a lot of you, maybe there is some sort of creative profession or project that you are working on, something that is a work of your heart. And I feel like this is just almost like you being very dedicated. Because I do feel like with beaver, there is often this connotation of like a long-term commitment or working on something towards the long-term or bigger picture in your life. And kind of going about this in a very steady, almost Virgo-like way, if you will. And we do have some really big emotions coming up with the sea serpent as well. This actually corresponds to the sacral chakra or Svadhisthana. And what's interesting is that this actually translates as in her own abode. And the sacral chakra literally can represent feeling at home in oneself, but it's just interesting that this feeling of home or this sense of home keeps coming up. I'm so curious to see what the rest of the cards have to say about this. But I really do feel like you are coming into a space where it is okay for you to be yourself, to feel what you need to feel, as well as to recoup, recharge. It just feels like there's something very, very beautiful that's helping you connect with yourself on an emotional level and maybe even a creative or sensual level as well. So it feels like there's something very nurturing here. I'm almost getting like an empress energy from these cards where you're being more embodied. You're really kind of exploring your sensuality and the sensory things in life. And you're in a safe place to do this. So really, really beautiful, beautiful energy so far. I am so excited to see what we have in the cards for you, Virgo. And if you've been following around for some time and have not done so already, I really encourage you to hit that subscribe and bell notification. That way you can always stay up to date with what's in the cards for you. All of your engagement helps me to continue putting out these messages for all of you, and it also lets you stay up to date with what's in the cards for you. I do also have some links in the description of this video. If you'd like a personal reading or distance Reiki session with me, you can book that on my website. I also have all of my social media accounts, which I'm kind of in the flux of figuring out which platforms I want to stay on. So if you do want to follow me elsewhere, it might be a good idea to just kind of cover your bases here. So really interesting energy is coming out already, Virgo. I have the Death and Tower card, and I feel like these are coming out in the past. This feels like there was some really big, major disruptive ending that is relevant right now. And it's almost like what had to end, on some level you recognize it had to end. It may have been toxic, or it may not have worked for you, or it was otherwise just built on a false foundation. But it does feel like there was some sort of painful ending. And maybe this is even going further back than the recent past. This could even be going back to childhood. Maybe there is this thing with feeling like you don't have a foundation to build your life off of. I am getting that for some of you. Maybe you moved around a lot as a kid. Maybe you felt like you weren't safe at home. Maybe you lost a parent or a caregiver or a family member. There's something here that feels like, I almost feel sad for you, because I get the sense like what you're about to experience is really going to be beautiful. It's going to be a level of security and stability you've never felt before. But there is some real, I want to say, sadness in the past here for those of you who are connecting with this energy. And something happened where it felt like you couldn't trust in stability. And I do feel like you're finally, oh God, the thing that just came to me here, the message that just came for me is like, you are about to realize the prayer of an inner child part of yourself, or a younger version of yourself. You are about to feel safe. You're about to feel at home and nurtured and cared for in a way that you may never have felt before or didn't feel when you were younger. And maybe you are in a safe place, and there's still this kind of blockage. There's still something that is preventing you from really feeling it fully. So I want you to kind of sit with this, really take some time. What parts of you might be in resistance to comfort, to connection, to nurture? Okay? Wow, it feels like this goes very deep for you. And you know, I actually did have a few other cards that just fell on the floor. I'm just picking them up. I almost put them in the deck, but I really feel like they're meant to be here too. We have the Nine of Pentacles, which is literally about feeling at home, feeling comfortable, feeling safe, feeling secure, having abundance. Again, this feeling of stability and kind of the safety that can come from that, the sort of exploration that can come from that when your basic needs are met. There's kind of like that hierarchy of needs. It feels like you're kind of self-actualizing or realizing new things about yourself with the King of Wands and the Hermit. And this may surprise you. I'm looking at the lightning in the back of this King of Wands, or Father of Wands in this case. You're finally getting on your feet, Virgo. And the Hermit is one of your indicator cards. So this really feels like, again, the energy right now is about you and your comfort, your ability to be nurtured and loved. And it does feel like there is maybe something with a relationship. I'll kind of pull for that if that doesn't come up soon, just to kind of clarify. But it feels like you're finally in spaces and in relationships where you can be yourself. It's safe for you to be yourself. And you might even be uncovering new passions, new desires from this that may surprise you. And I think especially as earth signs, I'm a Virgo myself, sometimes we can't feel like we can explore things that excite us or make us feel passionate until we feel safe or secure, or we have some sort of foundation. And it feels like you're kind of getting this beneath your feet right now. So I love to see that this is kind of how this is playing out so far, because again, going back to the beginning here with Death in the Tower, there was some sort of major disruptive energy or feeling very unsettled, major transitions that prevented you from feeling safe or secure. And like maybe you even were ousted from something that felt quite comfortable, but honestly, Virgo, I don't think was aligned for you or aligned for this new direction you are going in, this next chapter, if you will. But you are going to find security. You are going to find stability. You will get your footing. What else do we have for Virgo? Show us clearly, please. What are the messages for Virgo at this time? What are the messages for Virgo? Interesting. So we have the Emperor with the Five of Wands in reverse. This kind of feels like withdrawing from the sort of conflict. Honestly, Five of Wands in reverse is like not getting involved with people's drama. It feels like this retreating, especially since I have the Hermit here, going into your shell, finding that inner light, that inner wisdom, cultivating that. And I just realized I was holding up the Emperor when I was saying this, but Emperor energy does represent Aries. We are technically, at the time of this recording, coming into Aries season in March. By the end of March, we have an eclipse in Aries, a new moon eclipse, which will be the last of this cycle. It could be representing the end of a conflict or drama, especially involving authority or people with power. Maybe you are stepping into your power. Tell me a little more about this. Let's clarify this energy. Queen of Swords in reverse. If there is someone in your life right now, Virgo, maybe an air sign, could be Gemini, Libra, especially, could also be Aquarius, maybe even Aries as well. There might be someone who is trying to coax a reaction out of you by saying something with their words. And it might be triggering, especially with the Tower and death in the past. But it's almost like you're acting like the bigger person. You don't have to play this person's game. Because it almost feels like the more of a reaction you have to them, the more power they get over you. Which is sort of interesting. Because someone wants you to say something or blurt something out. Can I get a sense of who this is? It might be like a boss with the Emperor, or yeah, someone with some sort of like status with the Queen of Wands, or I'm sorry, Queen of Swords as well. Can we get a sense of who this is? Who is this? I'm actually getting mother for some of you. This could be a feminine energy who's very, very domineering. You know, I tend to shy away as a queer person from like gendered language, but I almost want to just say like a masculine feminine energy. Or a feminine who is very in touch or like imbalanced even with like the kind of shadow masculine energy. Although, I mean, the Emperor is upright. Let me clarify. Who is this? Who is this? Yeah. Seven of Swords. Someone is playing games with you, Virgo. Someone is playing games with you. And with the astrology, there is a lot of focus on relationships right now. This doesn't always mean love and partnerships. For some of you, I do feel like there is something building, or you're kind of thinking about relationships a lot. You're reflecting on your relationship patterns. But it's funny because I feel like there is something coming up where it's like, oh, I'm getting it. So some of you may have had a parent who manipulated you or gaslit you, lied to you, and that has caused you to distrust people, especially close relationships, and you're kind of in the process of peeling away from that, or peeling that back, and learning to trust again. That is for some of you, but I do feel like there is a situation in some of your lives right now where there is someone who is presently trying to manipulate you or get you to say something, trying to trick you. And I think you see this. You've seen these kind of games before with Tower and Death. Let's put that into perspective here. And the Strength card. Yeah, this is literally, I think we're done with this message because we're getting the same message over and over again. You are the bigger person here. Strength is about having that composure and also holding your own emotions and speaking to them in a very kind of mature way, composed way. Because strength isn't always the devouring lion. It can be making peace with the beast. Interesting. So what else is happening for Virgo? Where is this going? What is changing? Ooh, a lot of cards here. I'm going to reshuffle these. I keep feeling like these cards are just jumping out at us, Virgo. Let me see. What are the messages for Virgo? Show us clearly, please. It may feel like there's just a lot of things happening at once, or someone just throwing a lot of things your way. Especially if you live in the United States right now, maybe it feels like with all these headlines, there's just a lot being thrown at you. Aha! So, we have the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles. This is what I was saying at the very beginning. It feels like you are stepping into an Empress energy. And actually, it was the Queen of Pentacles that came out as kind of the change or the catalyst. You are thinking about your long-term stability and happiness in a different way. Where I think some of you may have been in survival mode of like, oh, I just need to take care of this thing. I need to put this fire out. There's a shift. There is a shift happening. And you're really thinking about your long-term dreams and goals and what you want. Or that's something that's really important to think about right now, and that applies to a lot of things. It applies to your relationships, it applies to your career, it applies to your home. But it really does feel like those personal things are especially important. And you're stepping into this Empress. Feeling loved, feeling safe, feeling secure, feeling creative. For those of you who are experiencing creative blocks right now, you need to do things to get yourself out of survival mode, out of fight or flight. And that could be a number of things. That could be a mindfulness practice. That could be, incorporating exercise into your day-to-day life. It's literally structuring your life to be conducive to your wellness. So that's going to be very individual for what that looks like for all of you. But it feels like there is this, you are coming into a greater stability than you've ever known. You're becoming more abundant, more stable than you've ever known. And I feel like there is something here with love and relationships too with the Empress, because it does represent Venus energy as well. And if it feels like there is some drama happening, you're moving out of it in a very stable way. And you're kind of being the force of stability here. And you're kind of comforting those traumas that are triggered, those emotions that are triggered. I often think of emotions like children. And I think some emotions like fear or like anger, we often shut those out. We don't want to deal with them in ourselves. But to me, that's no different than ignoring a crying child. And so if you're ignoring these emotions, if you're ignoring these feelings, maybe there is this need to kind of lean into that, even if it feels a little uncomfortable at first, because those are the parts of you that need that love and attention and care the most. And perhaps that comes up in a relationship for you as well. Maybe there is someone who's trying to nurture you and be supportive to you in a way that you don't even know you can receive, and there's this sort of trigger or trauma. So it really is leaning into those feelings either way, regardless of how it manifests. It's like you are learning to be more comfortable with the dysregulation or the triggered emotions, and you're becoming more stable than you've ever been. Anything else for Virgo? I am curious, is there a message about love right now? Because that feels like it's going to be important. We do have Pisces season coming up. We also have Mercury and Venus going retrograde. That's going retrograde in your 8th house of kind of secrets, of inheritance, of wills. kind of taboo things or things you've made taboo, which could be your own desires or wants. But then they are both going to be retrograding back into Pisces, which for you represents relationships, partnerships, one-on-one connections. What are the messages for Virgo in relationships? Wow. The Lovers and Ace of Swords. Yeah, I feel like there is a conversation for those of you who are in a relationship right now or in relationships that is bringing you closer together. Which is beautiful. For others of you, this could signify a new connection or new relationship. And I love this Lovers because it's these two geese that are traveling together. They're migrating. They're going in the same direction together. And it very much feels like this planning a life together, going in that same place together. Again, there could be a move that you are making with a partner. I feel like there's a lot of clarity that has a very positive effect in your relationships. And communication here is key. Okay? So you might be having a lot of feelings or uncertainty come up. It's really important that you speak to that in a very kind of composed way and really engage in those conversations. And I mean, even if you have those conversations and the relationship ends or it doesn't work out, then you didn't really lose anything. You weren't in the relationship you wanted to be in anyway. And it's only going to bring you closer to what you actually want or desire. But I don't think that's what's going to happen for a lot of you. I really think that this is about you becoming much closer with someone. And there's like, again, a commitment, a promise, a message, something that is being said that feels like a relationship or connection is moving into the next level, or there's kind of future plans that are taking place, which could involve moving in together, or something like marriage, or kind of building on a relationship. And if there is a new connection in your life, it feels very promising. It feels like something that's definitely worth exploring and seeing where it goes. Wow. Yeah. I mean, honestly, the cards feel very on the money today. It feels like a lot of things I've been saying have just kind of been repeated. So I'm trusting that that means these messages are reaching who are meant to hear them. I'm trusting that these are the messages you are meant to receive at this time. It was such a pleasure reading for all of you. Again, my links are in the description of this video if you'd like a personal reading or distance Reiki session. If you've made it all the way to the end and you want to claim this reading, give a little beaver emoji or even like a little sea serpent snake emoji here, because this energy is just so beautiful. Or even like the Empress, the Queen. I'm loving all of this energy for you. Anyways, Virgo, I'm sending lots of love and blessings your way. I will see you in the next video. Take care.